at different ages, different stages, we go through so many different things.
What?
And I can't compare my age 25 to her age 25 because our experiences have been so different.
I'm at that age where you don't say,
Yeah.
but you have a whole list of things you should have done before you were that one.
Yeah.
When you
pray for growth, God
gives you
disruption.
Yeah.
But
I feel
don't
that to my soul. Hold on.
Yeah.
That hits different, yeah?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ages and Stages podcast KE. My name is Dee. On the socials, I am Things Dee Says. And I will let my co-host introduce herself.
The fabulous Beldina Kasema, or I go by Beldina Kasema on socials as well. You can meet me on Instagram as Beldina Kasema.
All the government names, you've got all of them.
6. I've got
6 names.
6
Your
names.
ID must be hectic.
You guy, every time I have to apply for a passport,
Yeah.
every single time I have
need a
to
whole
get an
page for
affidavit.
the blah, blah, blah,
Which
blah, blah,
names
blah.
are you choosing?
Yeah.
Which 3 are you going with this time?
Mom and
Can
Dad
you
were
imagine?
over enthusiastic.
And the grandparents.
Oh wow.
We are loading her with all of them.
All
and
of
to
them.
imagine, I'm number 3 in my family.
Yeah.
And yet even at number 3, they still had names.
Oh look, you guys can't do roll calls because you like it's like reading a novel. Anyway.
I am tired. Completely, yes.
So guys, welcome to this podcast. So we, in a nutshell, decided to come together and have conversations that intersect between the journey through formal education and what we've learned through the school of life. Ooh, the school of life.
The school of
The
life.
one that has no syllabus. My syllabus is not yours. It's so, it's so complicated. Mm-hmm. And so,
But then has similarities where people can be able to pick up lessons and things, or perhaps learn how you went ahead with healing, or what you learned from something, and be able to see if it's applicable to their lives and how it can relate really.
Yeah.
So at what age and at what stage?
Yeah.
That's what we're talking.
Yeah.
At the age you are, what stage? And
Yeah.
Dee,
Yeah.
what age are you?
Yeah.
And what stage
am I?
Yo.
So, actually that's why we wanted to have these conversations, is because we were just like, okay, at different ages, different stages, we go through so many different things.
What?
And what I can't compare my age 25 to her age 25 because our experiences have been so different. So I'm at the age where I need eye cream for breakfast. But I'm at the age.
How do you need?
I need eye cream for breakfast. I'm at that age. I'm at the age where mommy brain attacks me like nobody's business. But I'm in my mid-30s. I'm 35 at the moment, and it's an age that is it's wild to me when I say it out loud, because I'm just like, I'm 35. Like, when did I get here? When did I get to 35?
No, you guys, 35 is the new 16. We have decided.
Alafu na wewe, what's your age and stage?
Me now, I'm at that age where you don't say, but you have a whole list of things you should have done before you were that one.
Yeah.
Between the businesses,
Yeah.
and where you should have been in terms of relationships, and how many children you should have had, and which house you should be living in.
So you're at the age where you're trying to figure out what your adult life should look like.
Yes, and the list of things that you said I will do before I am that day.
Blah blah blah.
That's the one.
Okay.
Yes. But then 16 forever, please.
Yeah.
16 until I die.
Yeah.
My dad says I am young forever. I say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm at that stage where I'm, in a committed relationship. I have a life partner. I have a baby, but also trying to really, progress in my career. And as we go on with the episodes, we'll talk about sort of the challenges of doing that at this age and this stage, with a partner, with a child, with this and with that. So we can talk about the triumphs and the challenges of this particular age and stage. But just before we even get to those conversations, maybe we can, talk about, I guess, sort of our background. What has led you to this age and this stage? So where have you been? What made you who you are today? Where did you study? What did you study? Are you working in your area of study? Like how has life unfolded for you?
So, for me, that's a tough one. I'm telling you, the age and stage that I'm at, ideally, has been through a lot of experience. I feel like I've gone through more than a lot of people by the time I'm here. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I left for the UK when I was about 16, going in for my A-levels, did my first degree around the UK.
16?
Yes. Wow. And then came back to Kenya and did a second degree around then as well. And then after that, managed to be able to start off by trying to establishing a business way ahead of time. Never had worked for anyone. Began working for someone in my late 20s, and currently I'm in international education. The idea is to just be able. Oh la la! Yeah. That's how we connect, really. Yeah. And it's a funny story how we started and what we were thinking. Seated in a bus somewhere in Nakuru after a game drive or something. Yeah. But it's kind of cool to be able to have that like established and be there. So I speak from experience in terms of I think experience is about the things you've been through up to whatever age. You might have gone through more than your fair share, but it's kind of really, really cool. It contributes to the age and the stage. And this is why we both feel, I believe, that we have, I think, the capacity to not only be able to assist in terms of just giving information, but then to allow people to be able to heal, to teach sometimes, and to also learn from our audience as well as we keep going. So how about you, T? What's the background look like?
Oh, wow. So, I mean, similar to you, I went abroad when I was pretty young, but not 16 young. I thought 19 was young. 16 is just, sweet 16. Like I was trying to plan a party like the ones I had seen.
Let me tell you.
On my, on those movies on TV.
On the day I was 16.
I was like, who's going to give me a car?
On the day I turned 16, my birthday is usually on the 29th of August. Please send me flowers, chocolate, and everything else that you need to send me. However, I turned 16 the day we landed in the UK, and I was with my dad. Goodness. Can you imagine?
Oh, wow. Hectic. So quite similar. I left the country when I was 19. Ooh. I went to uni in Australia when I was 19. I left with my mom as well, because that's the first time I'm literally, leaving the country away from my parents. The first time I was kind of away from my parents was boarding school, and even that I couldn't handle. I was there for 2 minutes and left. And then I went to uni when I was 19, Australia, thinking again, like it's going to be the novels that I've read, there's going to be sororities and there's going to be this and there's going to be that. And it was a completely different experience, which, we can talk about in another day. But like, so I went there and I studied, I finished 3 degrees at the University of Adelaide.
Hold on, back it up.
Yeah.
Not 1.
Not 2.
Not 2.
3.
Baby girl is learned. Let's go.
3. And I'm not even, literally, I'm not even half as learned as the people I meet in this country. Like, that's the thing that blows my mind. You see, I work in international education as well. And you meet such brilliant minds, and you're just like, oh my God. What? First of all, I used to think I'm so, when you're in your own thinking, your own way of thinking, your own bubble, you're thinking, oh my God, nimesoma, I'm done. Then you meet people who are on their second PhD or second masters, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we have really smart people in this country. So finished my studies, worked as a lawyer in the employment law field. And then used to represent people in the media, entertainment, and arts. That was my most recent job.
So if people need some representation in Kenya, they should reach out.
Look, I haven't converted my qualifications in Kenya. That's a process that's giving me, your stage in many suffocate.
It's the agent stage.
That process. Anyway. So,
is it true, by the way, you have to do like 6 months back at KSL to be able to translate?
No. It depends on how many years of practice you had. And so I practiced for 6 years in a Commonwealth country. Australia is a Commonwealth country. This is Commonwealth country. They both practice common law. So I should be able to have a straight conversion.
Excellent.
But now the process, they've changed it a little bit, and there's somewhere I'm stuck in that process of converting my qualifications, but I'm gonna get back to it. I'm not gonna give up. It's stressful for me because I wish it was more streamlined. But anyway, that's where I am right now. I haven't converted my qualifications, but yeah. So then I left Australia just before COVID hit, and you know, in my mind, at that stage, I was gonna travel the world. I was gonna, I was gonna travel the world before coming to Kenya, because I was like, there's no rush. I don't have any urgent pressing thing that I have to be in Kenya by this month. But I knew I wanted to move back. I just wanted to take my time with it and be like, you know, a bit of a freelancer in my life. And then literally I left Australia, went to America. I realized that this COVID thing is not just in Wuhan. This COVID thing, my dad was like, this thing is real, you need to come home. And then I came home and there was lockdown, quarantine, like 3 days after I landed. I was just like, and still back then, you know, all of us thought COVID is 2 weeks.
It's going to be 2 weeks.
And we're like, how is it going to get from China to, like, in my mind at the time, there was no real threat.
True. And I kept saying, you guys, we have the sunshine. We'll heal ourselves with sunshine and vitamin C.
At that time, I still even, like, I wasn't even in the sunshine ministry at that time. At that time, I was still thinking 2 weeks, maximum a month, and business is back to normal. Like, obviously.
Also how people were describing it. People are like, oh, you guys, it's going to be it's just a flu.
Yeah.
You get a flu, sometimes you're tired, but if you walk, you're okay.
Yeah.
It's just how it was described to us. So in our heads,
literally
like,
the most
it's going to be
unprecedented.
very simple, very keen, very quick to be able to handle. We'll be able to be okay, to be able to do everything. And then it happened.
Yeah. So that's literally, you know, in a nutshell, how I ended up in international education, because it wasn't something that I studied. It wasn't my background. It wasn't, you know, it's not, there's no clear trajectory if you look at it in terms of, oh, this is the path that I thought I would chart for myself. It's literally how most people nowadays, we find ourselves in careers where we're just like, oh, I never knew I'd end up here. But, you know, I've been enjoying it a lot so far.
Excellent.
And yeah, that's just me. So what about you? What did you study? Is it related to what you're doing now? Like, what's the...
First and second degree? Absolutely not. Can you imagine 2 degrees and it's not related to international education? However, I am a firm believer of things like transferable skills. I'm also a firm believer in terms of how people are able to look at the world in terms of exposures. And these are things that happen to me in terms of internships that you have as you study, people you come across as you study, where your parents work as you study, and what they're really passionate about. I believe these things tend to influence a lot of who you end up as a person. And a lot of the time, I've come across a lot of Kenyans. I don't want to say the bulk of them, but I've come across a lot of Kenyans, and most of the ones that I know don't usually work in the area that they actually tend to have studied in, which is quite interesting to be able to talk about. And we'll be having, and that's the goal of this podcast, ideally, to just give you an idea of ideally what's going on, so that you're not really feeling alone, just in case that's what you're facing or that's what you're experiencing.
Or if you have that dilemma of, what do I study? What should I do with my life? Like, one of my brothers has now decided to take a complete turn in his career. And, you know, he studied engineering. He studied a master's in engineering and now wants to do something completely different to what he studied, because he's just realized that his passions lie elsewhere. And those are things that happen in different ages and stages, because now he's at a different age, he's at a different stage in his life. And so his priorities are probably way different than they were, or more clear than they were, you know, 5-10 years ago. And so even as we're different, you know, even as we go through life at different ages, we want to be able to talk to you guys and have conversations about, okay, what was I going through at this age and this stage as I pursue this education, as I pursue life, and what did life teach me, the school of life? What did it teach me at this age and this stage? So I think that's why these conversations are so important. We want to, like you said, we want to heal, we want to teach, we want to learn. Let's have those conversations so that someone else who's confused can be like, okay, these guys, they've talked about the different ages and stages. We don't have everything figured out. Obviously, nobody does who's alive. Yes. But like, it takes reminding.
Sure,
even for us, it takes reminding all the time.
It's that transition will always come with pressure. Transition will always, and at whatever age and stage you're transitioning into, it will always come with expectation. It will always come with pressures from all over, and sometimes the pressures could be from yourself as well. So it's really important to just be keen. What we're looking to do is just, one, provide a platform where we can be able to display the different people and all of us, and to be able to showcase what we've really been able to do. But two, ideally be able to perhaps give you, as a listener, as a person who's watching us as well on YouTube, the freedom to know that it's not the end of the world if you pick a decision. Just pick and keep moving. That's essentially what we're really looking to do.
Yeah, and so yesterday, TD Jake said something. He said, when you pray for growth, God gives you disruption.
Yo.
So
one more time.
When you pray for growth, God gives you disruption.
Yeah, I feel that to my soul. Hold on. That hits different, yeah. The way
it feels. It hit me to the point where I was like, whoa. But don't let the disruption be a distraction.
Oof. One more time.
Okay.
Don't let the disruption
be a distraction.
Don't let the disruption take you away.
For instance,
from
COVID.
the change you really wanted.
Yeah, COVID, massive disruption. Massive disruption.
Say that one more time.
I can say for me, it became a distraction, especially in terms of my mental health. I got to a stage where I forgot all my goals. I forgot my power. I forgot to sit and stand in my essence. I forgot all those things because this disruption just felt like it was so monumental. Like to the point where I was like, how do I find my path, my way back to the things that I loved and the goals that I had, the dreams that I had. And, it's still a journey. I can't say I just woke up and I was like, yep, found my way back again, now that the world is back to normal. No, it was a disruption. It was a massive disruption. Leaving Australia voluntarily.
Yes, please. We have to make sure that we both left the countries we went to. Voluntarily.
When you leave voluntarily, yes. when you quit your job and you're going to pursue whatever, whether it's traveling, whether it's a different life, whether it's relationship, whatever it is, that's a disruption in itself. But it feels better because it was in my control.
I can relate to that point completely.
Yeah.
Because every time I've had to take a different step, like when I was moving from business into being employed, and possibly this is not a path that I thought I'd ever have to take, only because of the influence and the exposures that I've had completely. It's easy to be distracted. It took me almost a year to be able to figure out the distraction, but I was praying for something different, especially during COVID and everything we're facing. So I was praying for something different, and the disruption had to be there. It disrupted everything, my relationships, the people I was around, who I was dating at that point, how I'd be able to relate to them, where I was going to even hang out, because suddenly I didn't have the kind of money that I used to have in terms of being able to run a business and everything, and the choices I was making completely. And for a minute there, it distracts you, but when you remember where you're going, and you know that this disruption is important to be able to get you to where you want to get to, then ideally you're able to do that. You're able to move, you're able to focus on your goals, and that's what we're looking to do. Just give you that chance to be able to figure that out as well,
and also walk the journey together, because we're still
figuring it
unraveling.
out.
As long as we're alive, we're still unraveling. So as we finish up this episode, that's basically us in a nutshell. Consider us your big sisters who are just here to walk the journey with you at your different age and your different stage, and also remind you that you might be the same age as somebody, but the stages you're in at life are completely different, and that's very fine. That's very normal, because we all go through very, very different things in life. How life is mapped out for you and for me, it's very different. Even if we're in the same career, for instance, the journey yours might take you is a different journey than what mine might take.
That's true.
And so we want to, connect with you. We want to walk this journey with you, and we look forward to having more conversations like this. And so thank you for joining us, and we will see you in the next episode.
And please follow us. You can find us on what else?
We are on all podcast platforms for the audio.
Yes.
And for the video content will be on YouTube. And we're also on Instagram.
Yes.
At Ages and Stages Podcast KE.
KE.
So follow us, get to know what we're planning for you, what content we're planning for you. We're really excited. We're really, really excited to have these conversations with you guys, and we'll see you next week.
And if you're thinking you want to discuss something, talk to us.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye.